Okay, now let's separate the parts over here. And in order to separate them, we're going to use the mask. So if you hold down Control, you can draw the mask over here. You can see my cursor become yellow. So I can draw the mask like that. If I hold down Control, Alt, I can remove the mask. And if I hold down Control and drag to the empty canvas, I can remove the mask completely from this object. Now, if you draw the mask over here, and if you tap on the surface by holding down Control, you can blur the mask. You can do the opposite by holding down Control, Alt, and Tap by sharpening the mask over here, as you can see. Let's remove the mask by holding down Control and drag to the empty canvas. But if you do it again, you're going to re-animesh, which we don't want it right now, so I'm going to hit Control Z. And here's one more thing. If you hold down Control and draw the mask, you can see it's kind of using the pressure sensitivity of my tablet, which right now I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to the preferences and I'm going to turn on the use tablet over here in the tablet section. So I'm going to turn off this. And now if I hold down Control and draw the mask, you can see how dense and there's no pressure sensitivity going on over here. So let me remove the mask. And let's see where we're going to separate the parts over here. So I'm going to use the reference, this one. As you can see, the neck where it's getting the separate over here, the body, and the tail. Even the head where we have the jawline over here. So I'm going to move it aside. Let's turn off the perspective. Come to the jawline. Adjust my cursor and we're just going to draw it over here like that. Now you don't need to be exact. Don't worry if there's a little bit extra because later on we can hold down Control, Alt, and just remove that mask. Again, you don't need to go more so much precisely right now, just close enough. And there we go. Okay, it looks great. Now in order to separate them, you can go to the subtool and you can come to the split area. We're going to split the jawline over here. So I'm going to click on the split mask point. So if I click over here and just scroll up, you can see in the subtool section, now I have two objects, or let's say the two subtools over here. So first is the body and second is the jaw. And you can also see my selected object is kind of a light in color, but which is not selected. It's more like a darker color over here. So what I'm going to do is if I turn off this I button, you can see how it shows that how it's separate right now. And if you notice that you cannot see the back faces over here, that is because if you scroll down and come over here to the display properties and just click over here, click on the double, now we can see the back faces. So I'm going to collapse and let's continue to separate them. I will come over here and let's turn off this. I'm going to draw the mask for the neck. Like that. There we go. And again, clicking on the split mask points. Let's remove the tail. Now, if you hold down Control onto the empty canvas over here and just click and drag all the way, you can draw a mask box over here. So you can just draw a mask box just to the thing over here. There we go. One more thing I wanted to mention, if I control drag and remove the mask right now, and let's say if I draw the mask with the box, and if I hold down spacebar, by holding on control and spacebar both together, I can move this box wherever I want it. So I'm just going to remove and drag it out all the way. There we go. Let's click on the split mask points, and there we go. Let's do the same for the legs. Now the reason why I'm doing this over here, so that we can focus on the parts. So for example, we can focus on completely on the head, then the legs, and then so on. This will allow you to where to focus and where to add the details, and we have much control with the Dynamesh. And later on we're going to combine them, but it's just for right now to make them separate, and later on we're going to combine them. I can control and drag the mask over here. Same goes over here. Just a little bit careful. There we go. Looks great. Let's click on split. Let's do for the hands. If you hit Control and Tab, you can invert the mask just like over here. Just keep drawing like that. There we go, looks fine. Let's split. And there we go. Okay, looks fine. Let me check all the parts. So I'm going to click. I can even turn on my solo button, which is the shortcut key which I assign it over here. It's S. So I can hit the S and see how it looks. Now sometimes this is going to happen that you sometimes leave over this area, and that is completely fine. If this happened, we're going to fix this issue. So let's see how to fix. So I'm going to select the body, and you can see some extra parts came out over here, which we don't want it right now, like this one and this one. So how are we going to fix them? Well, we can use the polygroups over here. If I hit this button, you can see there are some polygroups going on over here. And if I hold down Control Shift and click on this polygroup over here, it becomes completely isolated. If I hold down Control Shift again over here, it becomes inverse isolation. And if I hold down Control Shift and drag onto the empty area, it becomes inverse again. But if you just click, it completely resembles the object over here. But what we want is we want to make our own polygroups over here. So I'm going to hit Control W to make a single polygroup. And then I just come over here and just draw my brush size a little bit small and draw it. I'm going to turn off the wireframe and just draw the polygroup. Just draw the mask over here and this one as well. And then I can hit Control W again. Now the mask is gone, but if I turn on the polyframe, so let me turn on the wireframe, Shift F, you can see it has completely separate group over here. We might need to do over here as well. So I'm going to hit undo, Control Z and Shift F. Just draw the mask over here as well. Okay, hit Control W, Control Shift and click just to check that everything is selected. Looks great. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to hit undo, Control Z. Let me do a Control Z and let me turn on the wireframe. So Shift F to turn on the wireframe. And what I'm going to do is Control Shift, click on this body, and you can see all those parts are now hidden. And once it's hidden, then you can come to the geometry, go to modify topology, and you can click on this button, delete hidden. Those parts which are hidden is going to be deleted now. So I'm going to click over here and it's done. Now if I hit Control Shift, nothing happens because it's already been gone. Great. Now let me turn off the solo and check everyone. So Control Shift click. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to hold down Alt and click over here. And let's hit Control Shift C, and just to make sure, I'm going to turn on the solo button actually. Looks fine. Let me go to the subtool, click on the neck, the jaw, which have some little bit extra, and you can see again we cannot see the back faces, so I need to turn on the display property and turn on display double, sorry, and Control W to make a single polygroup. We're going to do this all these subtools. So let's click over here. It looks fine. Let's do over here. Control W, make a single polygroup. Looks fine. There's a gap which we're going to fix in a moment. Let's click on the legs. Control W. The tail. Control W. The neck. Control W. And the jaw. So let's rename them quickly. So I'm going to select this one. And I also want to make sure this body has been separate, so control and drag over here. Let me just do quickly split them. So split mask point, there we go. And now we can rename them. So I'm going to start with the head. Let's click on the rename button and let's type it down, head. Let's click over here, the body, hands, legs, tail, neck, and the jaw. There we go. Let me turn off the solo. And let me turn off the polyframe. And there we go. Now we just completely separate all those objects. And in the next chapter, we're going to Dynamesh and start focusing on the head. We're going to start with the head, slowly coming to the jaw, the neck, the body, and so on.